Hello, my friends. Dorothy here. We're going to talk about the next few days in the world of astrology. So I am going to cover 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th of December. So let's get started. We are at the fourth quarter moon. I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see what I'm looking at. However, just keep in mind, you just listen to what I'm saying. You do not have to be able to read this, okay? I'm going to tell you what it means. Here we are. This is what it looks like when the moon is in the last quarter. We have the sun is at 24 Sagittarius and the moon is at 24 degrees of Virgo. That has happened today, just before about 12 hours before I posted this, which is fine. That means we're in that fourth quarter. We have the energy of really finalizing a lot of things. We have a new moon coming up on the 23rd, and that forecast will be posted as soon as I can possibly get it up. However, in the meantime, I wanted just to focus on these, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, just because we are in that fourth quarter phase, and that is about tying up lots of loose ends and, bringing things to a finality, to really process and get things done and accomplished, right? That's what we tend to look at when we have this fourth quarter moon. And with it in the sign of Virgo, that also gives us the indication that it's important that we focus on being very grounded, hone in on the details of what is important for us at this point in time. And that is the fourth quarter moon in the beginning, and just in this simple lunar phase. But you guys know me, and I also like to talk about this thing called the lunar gestation cycle. And that's a 3-year cycle. This fourth quarter is 27 months from a new moon that happened in the very same area. So what I would like to do is show you those four. There's 4 of them altogether, the lunar phases that go along with this, okay? This is what we do in our Patreon as well. We go in depth here, but today we're just going to go into just this little bit. So again, where we're at right now on December 16th, 2022, we are at the final phase. Gotta read my notes. I'm gonna just get rid of my face. We're at that final phase of, what do we learn through this whole cycle that started, over 2 years ago. And here's when it started. If you can look at the screen really close, you can see there's a new moon on September 17th, 2020. IS 2020, and it was at 25 Virgo. Well, that new moon was when we began something, when we initiated, when we set goals based on Virgo qualities. What were they? Virgo qualities are honing in on the details, everyday patterns and cycles. So that is what you were focusing on when you set new moon goals. Side note, that's why it's always important to write down or to journal how you're feeling around a new moon, and or to also set new moon intentions. If that's not your game, that's fine, but do write down during every new moon what's going on in your world, what is happening, how you're feeling. So important to do that. And then again, for those of you who do set new moon intentions, go back to this point and see what you were initiating, what you began, what seeds you were planting. 9 months later, why this is called the lunar gestation cycle. First quarter was on June 17th, 2021. At 27 degrees of Virgo, at that point in time, at that first quarter, this is when we're working towards things. We might feel like there's some efforting happening here. The moon is in Virgo as well. It's a square. It's a different square. It's the waxing square at this point, focusing in on the details as well. What are we working towards? What jobs do we have to do? Okay. We initiated something in September of 2020 with that new moon. June 2021, we are working very diligently towards those goals. The full moon was March 18th. The full moon in Virgo, March 18th, 2022, this year. That is when we get to see completely what is in full view, what we're engaging in, the people and partners that we're working with in regard to whatever intentions you began back in September of 2020. And again, we're now current time, back to today, December 16th, 2022. that last quarter here. They call it the third quarter. I like to just call it the last quarter. And that is where we are right now. Let's bring that chart back up. View that last image. Here we are. That's where we are right now, where we're finalizing a lot of things. It feels, it's very earthy energy, that moon in Virgo, but this quarter also gives us the feeling and the sense of wisdom. Gosh, the snow is huge snowflakes out there right now. Massive. I can't help it. I wish I could turn my camera around and show you, but I can't. This is last quarter, especially. It feels like wisdom and intention and really honing in on what is important in your everyday life. That's what that moon in Virgo really wants us to do. Just focus in, stop going all over the place and just hone in on a little bit of details. All right. That's what today is about, December 16th, but there's also more. This does extend all the way for the next 2.5, almost 3 days. So really hone in on that for yourself. All right, let's move on to Saturday. Grab my ephemeris. On the 17th. And what we have on the 17th here is Mercury making a trine aspect to Uranus. There it is. Let me mark it off in the chart here. There it is right there. Mercury at 15 Capricorn, 120 degrees away from Uranus at 15 Taurus. This is the first time they come together because Mercury will retrograde at the end of this year. Speaking of Mercury retrograde, I just recorded that this morning with my colleague, Sue Coffin. She does numerology. We just have a talk. It's not me talking at you like this, but her and I, we have a conversation about Mercury retrograde every time it comes around. And I touch on what next year's Mercury retrogrades are about. That I'm going to post that on December 26th, I believe. It's Monday. Yeah, I'm going to post it on December 26th. It's Mercury's retrograde on the 29th. All right, so keep an eye out for that. Now, this is the first time that Mercury has made a trine aspect to Uranus, and it's going to make 2 more. It'll make them while Mercury is retrograde and then direct again. Here we are. Here's those other dates. So this first opportunity, I'm going to tell you what it means one moment. Write these dates down. While it's retrograde, January 8th, it will make this same transit, the same aspect. And then when it goes direct again on January 29th, it will make this same aspect. Mercury trining Uranus is a wonderful opportunity to be open for new ideas, new inspiration. Mercury will be retrograde in the second one, and Uranus is retrograde now. And by the time Mercury moves through, then they'll both be retrograde. The energy of this is take your time, because Mercury is shadowy. I guess they want to call it that. It's nearing its retrograde numbers. It started at 8, goes 8 to 24 Capricorn when it's retrograde. Here as that wonderful, an earth trine is it's very grounded. It means something. It is a big focus on what it is, the contracts you're creating, the career you're working on, the reputation that's important to you. Those are the things that we're focusing on. And if you happen to have something, here's 15 Capricorn, 15 Taurus. If you happen to have something at 15 Virgo, then hallelujah, that makes an incredible connection between 3 points. If you have something there, if you don't worry about it. And if you don't know, don't worry about it. The connection between Mercury and Uranus, both in earth signs, is about taking, your base ideas and your reputation and your career and being open for something new and exciting to come in. That's the Uranus trining Mercury. I want you to focus in on that if you possibly can. All right. I don't have anything for Sunday. Let me look at the Sunday calendar. Sunday, December 18th. We mainly have the aspects we have throughout the day are the moon aspects. And so I will just talk about them in a general way. We have the moon making in Libra. So we're analyzing things. Libra is an air sign. So we want to communicate. We want fair, balanced, harmonious communication. It's very social. It's actually a pretty nice day for some get-togethers. Hanukkah begins this night at sundown. And if that's not your celebration, that's great, but happy Hanukkah to those who do. And I look at this too with the moon, it's making like a trine, it'll make a trine aspect to Saturn and it'll sextile the sun. This is all really beneficial. It just represents an opportunity to find some harmony. All right. I'm always looking at the light way that we can use these things. Some people will take that moon in Libra and cause a lot of discord. So then we have to figure out how to bring things back into balance. It does happen both ways. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But what do you want to focus on? And even if somebody throws a wrench in your day, it still doesn't mean the whole day is ruined. I know people who could feel like that. People say that, people act like that. It's like, oh, my day is ruined because of blah, blah, blah. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. Moon in Libra can do that sometimes. And we don't know who's going to do it. It can just happen. Something can really happen. And it doesn't have to be big and serious. If it is big and serious, you'll handle that too. All right. And then we're going to move on to Monday, the 19th. And we have here that Venus in Capricorn making a quincunx aspect to Mars. Now, this can be tough on relationships, especially here's the day before. Well, we didn't do the day before, but we do have the moon in Libra Saturday and Sunday. And that, again, that overall energy is about relationships. And Venus in Capricorn, here she is. Venus in Capricorn wants a stability and to feel secure in relationships. And even we want to feel our stability in our finances and money that we're spending. And this is a holiday season. So just be practical about what you're purchasing and don't overdo it. And, you know, I think, well, who knows? What do I think? It doesn't matter what I think, if that's what it is or not. Are people spending money? I have no idea. I don't know how to keep track of those things. But all throughout Monday, we do have the yod. We have a yod to Mars. So Venus makes a quincunx to Mars, and that creates stress and discord. And within a few hours, we have the moon moving through there, through Scorpio, which creates very deep and intense emotions and feelings. Monday looks to be a little tricky. Jupiter is at the very end of Pisces, the last minute, 5 minutes, and it's into Aries. Not clock time minutes, by the way. So let's see, when does the moon make the quincunx? The moon will quincunx Mars at 7:30. Yeah. So by PM. So the whole afternoon, honestly, all of Monday, Venus quincunx Mars, moon quincunx Mars. Mars is in Gemini retrograde. We need to be very aware of how we're communicating, how we're sharing our information. That's that Gemini energy. The Venus quincunx Mars can really be tough on relationships, but it can also, we could also like not see clearly when it comes to the money that we're spending. And then the moon in Scorpio is very deep and intense. The watery energy of this is quite intense. The base of a yacht is always obviously the foundation. The base is where the sextile is. The yacht is this isosceles triangle measurement. All right. And so when I'm talking about a pattern like this, the reason we just talk about it is just because we have a minimum of three planets that are all connected. So they're all going to work in tandem. It's just like, you know, the three-legged race, if you know what that is. It's just a fun summertime thing where two people stand next to each other and they tie their legs together. So they end up four legs, two people end up looking like three-legged race. This is what this is. It's like that things have to work in tandem, but in this configuration, they will not. So there is stress, there's tension. So allow for some wiggle room on Monday. And yeah, that's really the main thing. Allow for some wiggle room on Monday and take some deep dives if you need to, but you don't have to take action with a transit like this. I would just wait until the next day. That is how I would use that. And that's not so great for holiday season, anything, but it is what it is. Life is life, whether it's a holiday or not, right? I know. All right. I think the next forecast I'll get out for you guys will be the new moon forecast. So I'll have that out before this one expires. Okay. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great holiday season so far. And I say that because there's a lot of people with different beliefs and holidays are what it is. Okay. Blessings, everybody. Namaste.